that we're going to get the leaders that we deserve. Unfortunately, there is a lot of some candidates who hijacked the process, and right from the polling station, we had malpractices in the elections, and more so in the gubernatorial seat where I was, where I was a candidate for the first time, and we never took it like it was anything. The counting of the votes started from the president. Usually we start with the president and we go to the gubernatorial, and then we go down, and then until we get to the MCA. Unfortunately, this time round, everybody, we started the presidential, which is good, but you find that the gubernatorial votes were counted last. To me, it is fishy. It sounded fishy. And finally, I think now we know why those gubernatorial votes were counted last. Some of them are being counted at 4 a.m. all the way to about 10 a.m. the following morning when people are exhausted. And that is where malpractice happens. And now the report, and we have confirmed report, is that we had some candidates who had bribed the officials, IEBC officials, and namely the POs and the clerks. And after the votes were casted, when it came to filling up of Form 37A, it was erroneously populated. And apart from the fact that we had the counting was so easy, it took such a very, very long time to count. But in fact, and have the evidence of the same, we have got a lot of Form 37As that have been cancelled, and mostly I can tell you that they were cancelled in a manner that left nothing to doubt. You find where I had like 300 votes, somebody would just cancel 3 and make it a 1, so that I have 100 votes. And where somebody had, say, 60 votes, they would put a 3 to look like he had 360. And this is what happened. You find that some people, some candidates, even in their home places, they would garner 000 votes. And somebody garners about 400 votes. Unfortunately, we know some of these people never even campaigned. But you find that I think they were putting their money, all their money, into bribing IEBC officials. Unfortunately, I think they have lost money because we have seen these irregularities, and we have seen these illegalities, and we are bringing these illegalities out. And as if that was not enough, these people went ahead to the tallying centers. And when it came to preparation of Form 37B, they inserted figures that were not even in Form 37A. We brought out those illegalities. And you find that just by a click of a button, they would add 10,000 votes in an Excel sheet, which would be printed into Form 37B. I see a lot of lack of patriotism. I see a lot of people who really do not wish well for this country, because the moment you start tampering with the election results, really, you do not love this country. And unfortunately, this is happening all the way from presidential ballots all the way down to MCAs. And I can and it's not rocket science. I can tell you easily what has happened. In Kiambu, we have registered voter register of about 1.2 million people. We know that we had a voter turnout of about 55%, 50 to 55%. That would translate to about 650 voters. However, if you look at the total tally of the gubernatorial candidates, if you take the total, it is coming to 822,000 votes. So this means that we have 175,000 more votes. Let me repeat this again because it is important. Out of our registered voters, we had a voter turnout of an average of 55%, highest, because it was ranging between 50 and 55. Even if you take 55, it means we expected a total voter or turnout of 650,000 voters. However, the total that we are getting now is 822,000 voters. If you take the total of all gubernatorial candidates in Kiambu, that means in Kiambu alone, we have that translates to about 68 to 70% voter turnout. We know in this country there is nowhere we had 70%, especially in the Mount Kenya region. Now look, from those two figures, we have got a difference of 175,000 ghost voters. So the question is, these 175,000, they were added to a certain presidential candidate in Kiambu. They were added to a certain gubernatorial candidate in Kiambu. They were added to a certain MP, all the way to MCA. So that means you had 5 MCAs in that particular, if you have got 60 MCAs, so those, they divided the 175,000 votes amongst those MCAs. What does this mean? It means that in Kiambu, we are having 100% UDA candidates elected into the office by the virtue and the fact that they were added 175,000 votes. And if you want to prove this right, you have seen what happened 2 hours ago. 10,000 votes were added to a certain presidential candidate in Kiambu. The people, I'm actually challenging IEBC. Those 10,000 votes are not only for presidential. They have gone all the way down to MCA level. So that means even me, wherever they discover the 10,000, I have lost 10,000 votes. So the winner, whatever is being declared now as we speak, whatever is being declared now in Kist is illegality and it's irregular. And that person, and I can say, and I've taken a letter, actually I have done a letter, it's here. I've done this letter to Chebukati through the county returning officer, Mr. Arnold Mutwiri, that they should not announce and declare anybody as a winner of the Kiambu gubernatorial candidate. In fact, I would also advise all other positions to go and present a similar letter, because all those declarations that have been made now, they are totally illegal, because those votes are not genuine. I don't know whether there is any other question from the... Yeah, also let me also mention that I have also reported this case and have a letter to that effect. Somebody give me that letter. There is a letter from the DCI. I reported this matter to the DCI, and I told them that they should be investigating 2 areas. They should investigate from the 37A, because it is totally illegal. Illegal. Some of these forms are totally altered, and it's good. It's good that they should see that. If you look at this form, it is signed by everyone, but unfortunately, it has no data. You can see there are no votes inside that form. So it means that our people were compromised. The POs were already compromised, and they just wanted a signed form, and then they would distribute whatever figures they want. That is why you see some people have 0-0, and some people have got almost 99% of the votes casted in that particular polling station. So if you go to another one, you can see in this one, I have got several examples. Look at this. You can see that my votes, 200 and something, were cancelled and given to somebody else. Okay? And then you can see the first row, where the first candidate was supposed to have his votes. Is 0, is nothing. The first row has nothing. And then the second one has 0-0. And the third one, which is myself, I was supposed to have, you can see it is a 300 and something. It was cancelled and the 3 was made to a 0. And down there, now the UDA candidate was given my votes. And you can see, shamelessly, they just cancel on that form. And then they do, and they write their own thing. Yeah? So it's shame. And it is also stamped, IEBC. Yeah? And this stamp is for the deputy clerk. You can see that. I mean, deputy PO, DPO. And if you look at where we are supposed to sign here. So basically, again, yeah, this form, they omit some people, so only some people would sign in this form. You find that some of these forms are actually signed by MCA agents, while they were supposed to have been signed by gubernatorial agents. Okay, so irregularities and illegalities is crazy. I can tell you this. Cancellations. In fact, what I'm showing you here is just a tip of the iceberg. Just a tip of the iceberg. All these are cancellations. All these are cancellations. So just the tip of the iceberg. But the biggest, I can tell you, the biggest risk is not even here. The biggest risk is on the forms that were filled properly without cancellations, but actually those were not there. The distribution was done because people were compromised.
Welcome on board. We're coming all the way from Thika, and that is Kiambu County. Conversations as to how the elections, just culminated are disgruntled Wainaina jungle as to what really played out, and such is the mood across the country as we all await to see what it is that will be the final declaration, and different quarters of people having come out to appreciate and acknowledge the fact that really the people did not give them the mandate, but a majority of others as well registering their disappointment, having lost these particular positions that they had presented their names to the electorate to get them elected and, take up the mantle on the specific quarters of leadership. We're talking about the presidency and going to the gubernatorial position, the senatorial position, the constituency position, members of parliament, women representatives, as well as members of county assembly. And that's exactly what we're all about. It's been a pregnant moment for the country as we all await to see. I am having Dr. Masanga in studio, who predicted that by perhaps on Friday we'd have heard the presidential, results declared by the IEBC. But as it is, it looks like it's a state of despondence, a state of confusion. And we ask ourselves just what could be informing this as we have the tallying process ongoing across the different parts of the country. Welcome on board on this wall-to-wall coverage